So that's been quite a bit of unwrapping, yeah? So 2 new shoes, I'm gonna take those out now and do some testing and see how they feel, what they're good are, and I'll do some analytics after the actual run and check on what the Garmin is. And I won't mention what particular analytics I'll be looking at and do the comparison, but I'm gonna pack up those 2 beautiful new shoes, and I'm gonna take the New Balance 1500 V5 as well, so those are flats. And let's head out there now. Okay, let's go. So welcome my friends, here I am in the van of vitality. Yes, or whatever word we want to give that. Yes, so I'm going to do this experiment or test or whatever you want to call it, because I'm quite analytical. I like to keep things on a level playing field. So I'm going to try out those 2 new lovely shoes that you've seen me unboxing, which is the Nike Zoom Fly 3 and the Reebok Floatride Run Fast Pro. I've got to get those names right because obviously the things with these brands is they have shoes that are all very similar type names, and to throw in the mix, what I'm going to do, rather than run with my other regular shoes that I do, like long runs. So the idea is I'm going to go out on a it's a flat-ish course, so I'm going to run around a lake a couple of times, warm up. So I'll be doing those in my regular Saucony ride. So that's my long run type shoes I've been using. So I'll warm up, so I'll get my heart rate up. And the idea is that I run at an easy pace a couple of times around the lake in each of the shoes. Now, whilst I've got those 2 new shoes, I'm also going to throw in the New Balance 1500 V5, which you've seen me buy a few months ago. And, well, it is quite a few months ago now. And those have been great for sort of 5K, 10K, and also some of my mid long runs. So, yeah, so it's a bit of a mix. And shall I show you the 3? I've got them all lined up here, and they look quite sexy. So here are the 3. So you got the Reebok, New Balance and Nike. And I'm going to run, after I've done my warm-up, I'm going to run in this particular order. And the reason why I'm running in this order is there's 2 key factors with these shoes. It's weight and heel drop. So I'm going with the heaviest from here to the lightest. And also the heel drop here I think is just 3mm. This one's 4 or 6, and this one I think is either 6 or 10, somewhere around there. Apologies not having checked the exact heel drops, but you can look those on those tech specs. But basically the key thing for me is, obviously, these are quite chunky heels, yeah. And as for these, whoa, as they're floating away, there's next to nothing on here. In fact, the Reebok do remind me of the what is it, the Ultra 1, where it was like just wearing nothing on my feet, and they felt great. So without further ado, I'm going to get changed now, get into my run gear, go and do my warm up, and then take them in a particular order of run them out and see how they work. Because as I say, there's 2 sets of which I'll do when I get back home and do some editing. That there's 2 type things that I'll be looking at, which for me is essential in terms of comparing these, as I say, on a level playing field, because it's more than just about the weight and things. But whilst I'm here at this particular lake, I'll be coming back and just do a quick review in terms of how they felt, and yeah, because that's all I can really comment on. I can't really comment on was I running faster or getting more efficient and that, which I'll do that post run on there. So let's go get changed. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did I say all these shoes I've bought in sale? I've not paid the full list price. Yeah. In fact, the Reeboks I think are the most expensive shoes I've ever owned, but they were 50% off. I think they're back to normal retail price, so those are over £200 now new, which is a hell of a lot of money. But I got them 50% off. Otherwise, I would not have bought them. But let's see how I get on. All right. Ooh. So guys, I'm all changed, and I've even got some new leggings, which yes, once again I bought in the sale. These are some Nike leggings, and they go down sort of half leg length. But as I say, I got them on a sale item, so maybe you can call me Discount Don. So everything I'll be running in is either discounted. Obviously this came with the Chester Marathon freebie, but all the gear I've got on is all been discounted. So yes, Discount Don. Anyway, I'm going to go and do my warm-up now, and then I'll be back and work on, as I say, Nike, New Balance, then Reebok. All right, so that's warm-up complete. Now it's time to get changed into the Nike Zoom Fly 3, and I think it'll be a slight change in plan. Rather than 2 laps around the lake, I'll do 1 lap in each shoe, because the 2 laps is just a little over 4.5 kilometers, and I think by the time I get to the last one I might be not in an even keel type to judge and assess it, because I may be a bit tired and so on and so forth. So it'll just be 1 lap in each of the shoes. So time for the Nike Zoom Fly 3. Nike Zoom Fly 3 on. Let's rock and roll. Oh yes, that was the Nike Zoom Fly 3. Oh, all I can say is that immediately when I started running, I could feel it nice and spongy. Oh, it was lovely. But one of the other things, so there's 2 key takes. It felt really spongy, but also my feet, compared to the obviously I started off with the Saucony Ride. Now I appreciate these are coming to the end of their life, and the Nikes are brand spanking new, but I could hear it was a more audible drop of my foot, a more audible thud, not thud, but I could hear it more audible, and it was more recognisable than the Ride 3. But all in all, felt great. I don't know how the analytics will look, but we'll look at those later. So I'm now going to put on these beauties. So the New Balance V1500 V5. Let's go. Right, let's get out with the New Balance. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm not with my trusty GoPro and recording as I go along, it's a bit rainy and windy, so I don't think the sound will be good, vision will be good, but hopefully you're enjoying this and give a quick summary. So let's get out there on these New Balance. And yes, I've run in these before. I've run over 100, 200 kilometers already in these, but it's more to collect the data so I can compare them with the other 2 shoes. So let's get out there and go. So I'm back with the Reebok. Whoa, I'll tell you, first impressions once I started with these, obviously compared to the Nike, was the weight. These felt so light compared to those, and pretty effortless. So, but maybe, as I say, these might be embedded in a bit more, that's why they feel better, and the Nike needs a bit of time to bed in. But the key difference is the Nike Ride felt a bit stiffer than the New Balance. So let's try on these new babies. So I've not run in these at all. I've not been on a treadmill or anything. These are straight out the box. Yes, the Nike, I had a bit of a tempo try on the treadmill on the Tuesday, and but these are totally brand new. So let's see how we get on with these. Right guys, the Reeboks are on, and yeah, here they are. I'm keeping out here because it is literally pouring with rain now. They're on. I gotta say, immediately the hardest bit for me was getting these shoes on, but compared to the Nike, whilst the Nike were easier to get on, around the ankle they felt a bit loose, and I did do the, you know, the special knot that you do, same as I've got on these Reeboks. But these Reeboks, once I've got them on, yeah, they were difficult to get on. They seem to just grip the whole foot as a sock. But anyway, let's see how we get on with the run. Ooh, so those are the Reeboks completed. Oh man, they just felt effortless. Yeah, because of the mesh upper and the holes. As soon as I got out with the rain, I could feel my feet getting wet, but that didn't really bother me, because when your feet are wet, they're wet. They certainly weren't sloshing in the shoes, which can often happen with certain shoes if there's no place for them to go out. But obviously, being mesh, the water must have permeated out anyway. But felt really good. But again, and I got to say, for all 3 shoes, considering the conditions, it's wet, drizzly, leaves on the ground, all of them grip amazingly well. They all have different types of grips, and I'll show you when I get back, when I've dried up, stretched and whatever. I'm going to go for a final run with the Ride 10 again, so I've got a beginning and end measurement comparison to see if there's any variances, and I'll take that analysis into account as well. So yeah, this is great fun. And by the way, big shout out to Kingfisher Harriers. I saw a whole mass of you outside running around the lake. Great guys, eh? Well done. So I've got my Saucony Ride on, the Saucony Ride 10s, and as I say, I'm going to do exactly the same as at the beginning. 2 laps, easy pace. All the laps have been at an easy pace, same effort. So I'm literally measuring like for like, I hope. So these last 2 laps in the Ride 10 is just to use a comparison between beginning and end. Yes, that's what us engineers and scientists do. So we have a correct measurement. Let's go. Whew. So that's the cool down run done. As I said, it was 2 laps in my Saucony Ride, replicating effort level at the same as at the beginning. I gotta say, I think I've got a name for those 3 shoes now. It's the 3 Amigos. Yeah, the 3 Amigos. Da, 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 da. And all 3 of them make you want to go fast. But I'm gonna head off now, stretch, get some food down me, and I'll see you back in the studio, room, office, whatever you want to call it, when it's dry and warm. Laters. Oh yes, it's good to be back. Yes, I've had my food, showered, stretched, changed, and I'm back. Yeah, that was an epic. That took quite a few hours to do all of that recording and working with all the different shoes. As I call them, the 3 Amigos. We are the 3 Amigos wherever we go. Anyway, I digress. So I'm now back, and I've had a look at the Garmin stats and analysis, and you might recognise that the Reeboks are there. There's the Nikes, and the New Balance are here. Whilst they're off shot, it's not because I don't like them, it's just I can only fit so much on the tables and balancing it here and what you can see. All of them, as I said, I can go through there's pros and cons with all shoes. And there are many YouTube channels that all they do is shoe reviews. All I can summarise in terms of whatever shoes you go for, because there's pros and cons to all these 3 shoes, and including even the Saucony Ride 10, which as I say, they're coming to the end of their life, and I'll be going on with some other running shoes for the easy long runs. I've done easy long runs in the New Balance as well, and they'll be fine. So they work for me. The key thing is just finding shoes that are comfortable for you and you feel good in. That's all you need to do. It doesn't matter about what people say about the weight, the shape, the size, the colours and all that. Yes, that might be a deciding factor for you in terms of why you want to buy them. But for me, it's all about price. Yeah, if I can get a good deal, there's plenty of, for me, if I'm looking for fast shoes, there's a whole plethora of fast shoes out there. And I would say all 3 of these I would class as fast shoes. I did feel as though I wanted to go quicker in terms of the summary of the 3, because I was running an easy run and going at a steady pace. I was keeping the effort pretty much the same for all of them, and having looked at the stats, the cadence and everything, they're all pretty much bang on, same effort level. So what was I looking for? Well, the key indicator I was looking for was stride length. So for me, if they're helping, and all this advertising and blurb and PR is all about the return of energy and propulsion from these, you know, these plates, carbon plates or the foam or whatever, for me, there's only one thing to look at, and as I say, it's the stride length. If I'm using the same effort, the same cadence, the same, you know, those 2 are the key indicators. The stride length should be bigger. Yeah, so let's have a look. So I've been looking at in no particular order. I'll go through the 3. So I've got the Floatride. Well, firstly, let me go to the Kinvar, not the Saucony Ride 10, and and the average stride length is 1.02 meters. But the interesting thing is that there's very little variance on that stride length. So some of it might peak at 1.06 meters, 1.03 meters, but it's thereabouts, 1 point something meters. Yeah, there's a variance up and down, but it's pretty much bang on consistent. And it was the same for both the first run and the last run. As you may recall, I done 2 laps of the lake at the same effort level, and it turns out that the cadence was pretty much the same and the stride length was pretty much the same. So my fitness health hadn't changed over that period. So if I look at in terms of the order that I ran them in, the first one would be the Nike Zoom Fly, and again the average stride length on there, again the cadence is pretty much the same, all 3 shoes and the Saucony Ride 10. The cadence is all pretty much around 180, 175, 180, 181. But the interesting thing is with the Nike Zoom Fly 3 is the average is 1.05, but actually there's parts where it jumps a lot higher. So we're looking close at 1.16, 1.25 meters stride length. Yeah, so that's quite a difference. And as I said, of all 3 shoes, this was the heaviest. But as I mentioned, all 3 shoes made me want to go faster. So that one, the stride length was markedly higher, considering I'm going easy. Which is the reason why it sparked me to do this particular experiment. Because when I was doing my tempo runs with these beauties here, I did notice the stride length, whilst my heart rate I think was about 5-10 beats per minute higher than I was doing some of the tempo runs back in March. Those were in the Saucony Kinvaras, and in these I was getting almost 20 centimeters more stride length in these than in the Sauconys. So is it that the carbon plate is propulsing me, giving me more propulsion? I don't know. Let's have a look. So looking at the second one, which is a New Balance V1500 V5, again cadence 178 average. So and the interesting that the average stride length again is 1.02 meters. But again, there's some leaps, but not that markedly a leap, up to say 1.10 meters stride length. And as I say, it is higher again than the Saucony Ride 10. And then last but not least is the Reebok Floatride Run Fast Pro. And as I say, it's essential to remember the name of that, because I think there is a Floatride Run Fast, which is a different model, and this is the Floatride Run Fast Pro. Yeah, and as I said, it's the most expensive shoes I've ever bought, but I did get them at 50% discount. Whether I would pay 210, 220 pounds for them, I don't know. But again, looking at the cadence, this one a little bit higher, 180. As I say, same effort level, and the average stride length, interestingly enough, again 1.02. But again, there's some little jumps on these, but the jumps are around up to I've seen some up to 1.15 meters and some around 1.10 meters. So again, it seems to be a higher stride length than the Saucony Ride 10, which I use for my averaging. So what can I conclude from these? I mean, the overall conclusion is there is not enough data here to make one final conclusion in these. There is indication showing that obviously I want to go fast in all these. I need to do some more runs. I need to try out some tempo runs. I think at the weekend I will be trying out a park run, depending on the weather and so on and so forth. I'm going to try a fast 5k. I think I'll try them in the Floatride, see how those go, and because again it depends on the terrain. I think with the Nike, because there's quite a stack on there, I need to run on a different type of course. Some of them there's lots of sharp turns, corners, leaves and so on, and going at speed. I don't know whether they whether they would hold. They all felt really good in the wet. As I said, it was all pretty consistent, and but there's not enough data to conclude basically, but it does seem to lean towards the Nike's Zoom Fly 3, where there's a bit more of a push based on the same effort. Maybe it's the plate that's pushing a little bit more, but of all three, that is the heaviest by far. And I don't know if I mentioned that when I went to put my Saucony ride after running with the Reebok Floatride, oh, there's so many rides there, that the Saucony felt like I'd put on lead shoes. That's the difference in weight. And I'd only done, each lap was about a little over 2 kilometers, and so barely 10 minutes. But for me, for all of them, I think you just get used to the weight. Yes, the weight may be a big issue for some people, and they might use that as a pro or a con. But for me, it's what you get used to running in, and within half a kilometre, my feet were used back to the Saucony ride, and they felt fine. I felt fine running them, felt easy, running at a steady pace. And as you saw, the comparison of the first run and the last run, that they were pretty much identical with virtually no variance at all. So that's it in conclusion. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Yeah, you've seen the Reeboks, the Nikes, and the New Balance. They all make me feel like going zoom, 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 really fast and furious. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying these out more and see how I get on with them, and also in terms of different distances, whether it be 5Ks, 10Ks, maybe even half marathons. There is write-ups that you can run all three of these. You can run marathons in all three of these, so that would be an interesting test to try out. And speaking of tests, and also if you can help support this channel, I have got a link below, Donato/coffee, where I'd really love your support to help me get those ultimate shoes that everybody's talking about, and that is the Nike Next Percent. Here in the UK, they're £249, £250, which is a hell of a lot of money. Now, obviously being discounted on, I would like to wait a little bit, come December time, January, whether there's going to be any discounts on those, and I'll get them cheaper than that retail price. But I'd love for you to help support financially, and click on that link below and make as large or small of a donation as you would like, and that would be a tremendous help, and I'd be very appreciative of that. And also, as I may have mentioned all the way through, leave some comments below. What are your, would I say 3? Do you have 3 favourite shoes that you have in terms of long easy runs, tempo runs, racing shoes? Do you just have one pair and go out and do all runs in those, or do you have a large rotation of shoes? Or over the past 12 months, what are your favourites? I'd love to hear from you, so list them below. They don't have to be in any particular order, 1, 2, 3. You can do A, B, C. And if you have any favourites, then tell us what your favourites are. We'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure everybody, like you guys, do read the comments below, and feel free to leave comments on other people, what they've said on there. And we're all entitled to our own views. We're all different shapes and sizes, but the overall conclusion, like I say, and that's why I don't really do shoe reviews per se as shoe reviews, because all you need to do, and to save your time on looking through them, is find a pair that you feel comfortable in and is within your budget. That's it really. I've been Discount Don, or aka Donato, talking to you about those 3 wonderful shoes. I do love all 3 of them, and I love my Saucony ride as well. They've really served me well, and it's going to be sad to say goodbye to those, but they've lived their life. I've done hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. I think it's over 600, coming up to 700 kilometers. So there's still a few more long runs in there for me in them. But it's sad to see them go, and I'll be introducing these into my runs. And yeah, I better go now, because I've been wittering on for quite a while. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, then click on that link up there and subscribe, and then have a look-see up here of one of my latest races. And as I may have mentioned, coming up is the review of some, oh, what am I going to be doing? I don't know. Bye bye bye. Bye. By the way, do you like my New York top? Yeah, New York Marathon is coming. Are you ready? Yeah, if you're running New York, are you ready? leave it in the comments below.